This presentation is brought to you by the Beljanski Foundation. Over 50 years of research towards curing cancer the natural way.
So, America is really sick now. So sick that there's so many strange, rare, and peculiar things going on. In America today, we spend the most money per capita of any country in the world, yet we rank 50th in health status. So what's going on here? We have gene therapy, we have immunotherapy, we have all these bright, wonderful, trained doctors who are smart, have gone to the best universities in the world, want to get people well, yet America is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. What's going on? The number 3 cause of illness now has to do with a medical intervention. When people get sick or die, number 3 on the list, there's cancer, there's heart disease, then a medical intervention. What's going on? What's being missed in this? So I'm going to tell you something. Something interesting happened to me in the beginning of 2013. I was working outside of medicine in an import-export business. My husband and I were exporting cars all over the world. You know, the serial entrepreneur doctor. And I was the marketing face of the company. And so in my signature, you know how us doctors are, we like to put all our everything behind our name. So it's Dr. Veronica Anderson, MD. So these people would come to me and they text me. Anybody use WhatsApp or Viber or Skype? Everybody's international. Nobody wants to pay. And so they are sending me messages, asking me for different cars. But people started realizing that she's a doctor. So one day I had this gentleman send me a message, John, never had talked to him before, saying to me, after he asked me for multiple cars, "You're a doctor, right?" He texts this to me on WhatsApp. I answer him, "Yes." "Can you help me?" I text back, "Yes." And all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, I see malignant hypertension. What's going on here? Kind of shocked me. So I'm saying, why am I getting this information? Malignant hypertension came up. So I start to text him back. Remember, we're still on WhatsApp. I'm texting him back. "You experiencing any headaches?" Text, "Yes." "Any palpitations?" "Yes." "Chest pains?" "Yes." "Blurred vision?" "Yes." And he texts back to me, "And by the way, ma'am, my male private parts aren't working so well either." So I'm still texting him, concerned he has a medical emergency and he's halfway across the world. So I tell him via text, "You really need to go to a doctor because you need to get checked. I'm concerned there's something that could kill him that's going on in him." Now remember, I've not met this man. I've only been texting him. But I'm positive I know what's wrong with him and what to do about it. I tell him to go to the doctor. He says, "Well, I'm not going to have any money till Tuesday. It's Sunday." He gets the money on Tuesday. And then he says, Wednesday, I ask him, "Did you go to the doctor?" "No, I didn't go to the doctor." "Why?" "Because the doctors are on strike." I'm like, what do we do? The doctors are on strike. Finally, he gets to the doctor. He comes home. He says, "I went to the doctor today." "Well, what did they find?" "Well, my blood pressure was 240 over 116. Malignant hypertension. What's going on here? Why was I able to see that? Well, there's something going on in our medical system. We're really good at the physical side. All you know, you have great doctors. You've listened to a lot of great talks of telling you what vitamin to take, what mineral to do, what supplement to drink, what therapy to put all over your body. But what's really happening is that people have this problem that's going on in their emotions and their spirit. And what do we call that? Stress. Don't we all know that stress is something that kills? Well, what about stress? We know there's a system that's well worked out for the stress. It's the cortisol system. Everybody can honestly tell you about the cortisol and the belly fat and where it is. But what's going on where your emotional state actually is causing a problem? Well, the opportunity that's being missed in medicine today is that we have the science going on and it's separated from that intuition, that spiritual state. And when people walk into the doctor's office, so pretend you're a doctor or pretend you play one on TV. When people walk in to the office of the doctor, they're having some kind of crisis. And the crisis is not just a physical crisis. They're also having an emotional or spiritual crisis. Illnesses and injuries are an opportunity and a message from the universe that something has got to change. Now, you're saying, intuition, doctor, why should we believe that? Why should we even talk to doctors who use the intuition? Well, when you go into a doctor's office and they say, I know it's wrong, right away, boom, here's the answer. Most of those practitioners, those doctors are using their intuition, and then they're using the science to answer why they got the particular answer. Really brilliant doctors do that. It's like Michelangelo, where you walk into the room, and that room happens to be the Sistine Chapel, and you look up at it, and you know exactly what needs to be painted. This is bridging. Intuition bridges the science of medicine with the art of medicine. And if you're saying, well, that has no science involved in it, yes, it does. In fact, it's quantum electrodynamic physics. It's the stuff that Einstein talked about. And this is actually something that's trainable in practitioners. You can train the intuition to help you learn about yourself, and also for doctors to make better diagnoses for people. It's trainable, just like we learn how to read MRI scans and PET scans and CAT scans and X-rays, which is all physics too. We can learn how to harness the intuition, which is in our left side of our brain, in our temporal lobe, and use it. I know everybody in here has had that feeling that something was going to happen, that gut, that somebody's at the door. I know who's at the door. Somebody rang the phone. I know exactly who rang that phone. So now you're saying, well, Dr. Veronica, why should I listen to you about intuition? And why should doctors use this? Well, let's talk about some other people that use intuition and have made such decisions that it's affected our whole life. Anybody have an iPhone? iPad? We all know Apple, Steve Jobs. Apps, we use those health apps all the time. Most of us are glued to our electronic devices, and it was Apple and Steve Jobs who did it. Well, Steve Jobs says when he makes any decision, first thing, he listens to his intuition. Big tech company, one of the most valuable one in the country and in the world. Next, we have Jeff Bezos and Amazon. You know that Amazon is already in healthcare. Amazon is already selling equipment to hospitals. Amazon has already partnered with Merck to be able to help diabetic patients. Jeff Bezos, what do I do when I need to make a decision? I listen to my intuition. So what I'm saying is that what we need to do with medicine to actually bridge the gap between the art and the science and make the brilliance come back in it. The people who are coming to us as practitioners with strange, rare, peculiar, I don't know if anybody in here has that experience. You've had something strange, rare, or peculiar. And what do I mean by strange, rare, or peculiar? You've actually gone to the practitioner. They've done a bunch of tests on you. There's a bunch of stuff that's wrong on the test. You're feeling like crap, but nobody can give you a diagnosis. Strange, rare, peculiar. We don't even know what to do. Or you go to the doctor, you're like, I know something's wrong with me. I feel like crap. You have every test in the world. Nobody can find anything. And what do they tell you? It's all in your head. But it's not in your head, is it? There's something really wrong. Then you go to a doctor that says, I know exactly what's wrong and what we need to do. I don't know how to name it, but I know it's exactly what's wrong you need to do. And they walk in the room, they tell you that with confidence, and all of a sudden you're able to get well. What I'm telling you is the missing piece in medicine today, and this exists in other medical systems in the world, such as Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. We got Qi, we got, yoga, all these things that go together, that go mind, body, spirit. In Western medicine, we have only the body. And we have a lot of people who practice really wonderfully on the body. And they'll say, well, you need to relax. You need to do some yoga. You need to do some meditation. But actually having a system to help you get well using that quantum electrodynamics, that intuition that informs everything, it's the piece that's missing from modern medicine. So what I tell people is when you go and you're thinking about your healthcare, one of the important pieces is to make sure that you have someone that understands how important the whole you is. And so I want you to have the right diet for you. I want you to have the right exercise regimen for you. I want you to have at your disposal prolotherapy, PRP, immune therapy, O3, ozone. All that stuff is wonderful, but we're still looking at the physical side. You got to make sure always that you put into your equation that spiritual and that emotional side. So let me just break down stress a little bit more for you so you understand it a little bit better. So, and when I talk about stress, there's 3 types. There's physical, there's chemical, emotional. I'm going to only address the emotional because this is what we say. We're stressed. We're stressed. You're thinking about my job's not solid. I don't have enough money. My kids aren't acting right. Stress is emotional. Or the president's acting up again. Stress. Okay. So what's happening when we're having stress? We're having 3 emotions that are taking over. There are 3 that are health harming, and 3 emotions that are health promoting. And in order for you to stay well in mind, body, and spirit, you have to be on 51% the health promoting. So health harming emotions, fear, anger, sadness. The health promoting emotions, gratitude, love, and joy. So think about when you are ill and you step into the doctor's office. You step into your practitioner's office. What's going on? It's one of those fear, anger, and sadness, health-harming emotions. And guess what about these health-harming emotions? They manifest in the body, right? Everybody knows when you have stress, you can have high blood pressure. Everybody knows that. It's been known for years. Fear, anger, or sadness. A lot of times things like high blood pressure are formed by anger. Okay. But on the other side, the body very predictably manifests illnesses based on what's going on in your life, in your spiritual state, and in your emotional state. And so when somebody tells me, hi, I have such and such disease, I can put together a profile of them almost immediately and talk to them about what's going on in their life. Intuition, energy medicine, reading it, it's like an apple and an orange. An apple and an orange both have different energy imprints. And we can tell. If I ask you, close your eyes, do I have an apple or do I have an orange? And which hand is this? More than 50% of the time you'll be right. And the more I train you on how to do this, you'll go up and up and up and be right. Same with practitioners and using their intuition to help people get to their healing, all right? So remember, fear, anger, sadness makes people ill, health harming. Gratitude, love, and joy helps people be well. And so as people come into the practitioner, what we can do with them as a practitioner is help them work through their crisis, not just their physical health crisis, but also their emotional and spiritual crisis. When I walk in that room and I can say to somebody, I understand that you're having fear and here's what it's about. And I'm not going to just say it's about because something hurts. I can talk about something that's going on in their life. It's because I can read an energy imprint. I can read on the electrodynamic side. Okay, so understand, everybody talks about mind, body, spirit. We're whole people. So what do we do with that? As practitioners, we have to train. So when we walk in the room, we can make the connection quickly and then help people get to the results quickly to end suffering. And so I believe that all practitioners should learn this skill, but not only all practitioners, all people should learn how to trust their intuition. It's something that's been taken out of the culture of the American society. Why don't we trust it? Because we've been taught to ignore it. It's not approved by the AMA. As a practitioner, I was scared to say I can do this because I was afraid my colleagues were going to laugh at me. And you know how that feels. We're all doctors. Pretend you're a doctor. Imagine you say, well, I use my intuition to make decisions. Why don't we use our intuition to make decisions? And in fact, when you do use your intuition to make decisions, even practitioners, I was a surgeon before, and when I'm in that operating room and I need to make a split-second decision, it's not in my left brain. It's in my right brain. And I'm like, I know I just need to do that. And so we need to bring this back in to medicine so that we can connect better with our clients and patients, be able to serve them better, and then really be our whole self. We would transform the American medical system to allow that doctors and practitioners became more like Michelangelo, where every room we walked into, somebody's sitting in front of us, and that's the Sistine Chapel, and we're going to learn how to use the intuition to figure out exactly what we're going to paint on that ceiling so that person can get their healing. Thank you.